Buenos dias todos, bienvenidos in Spain. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Barcelona for the final round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Yesterday, we crowned our champion, Cameron Dass. Took second in race one yesterday. That was enough for the American to claim the title. It is a beautiful day here in Spain, as you can see, although it was very, very cool this morning. Ian Silvestrin with you in commentary for this, the final day of what has been a magnificent 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Great to see the fans back in the stands as the cars leave pit lane, ready for race two here this morning. We have raced 22 times throughout 2021. Of course, we got underway back in May at the Algarve circuit. That was in support of the Portuguese Formula One Grand Prix. We have crisscrossed the European continent, and we find ourselves once again, as ever, here in Barcelona, in the Catalan capital, in the northwest of Spain, for the final round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Cembolic Bashi took a magnificent victory in race one yesterday. The Turk, his second win of the 2021 series. Cameron Dass, on your screen now, took second place, and that was enough for the driver from Maryland, USA, to become the first ever driver from the United States of America to win the European Series. Cameron Dass will start out of grid 5, and you can see he is now wearing car number one on his car. Team Motopark have taken the title once again. As we look at Enzo Trulli leave pit lane, the young Italian, a stunning podium yesterday for the 16-year-old from Pescara, driving for Carlin Racing. Great to see young Enzo, the second generation racer, on the podium. Exits pit lane now. A beautiful day here in Spain. You can see the sun is shining. As the cars make their way out, we once again right on board with Christian Mansell. The Australian in car 10 will start out of at grid 10 this morning. 30 years after Nigel Mansell wins the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix, Christian Mansell lines up for Team Motopark for the final round of the Euroformula Open Championship. This is Christian from north of Sydney in Australia. Incidentally, we have had 25 drivers from 14 different nations race with us throughout what has been a magnificent 2021 championship. As you look at the Texan, the Red Bull Junior, Jack Crawford, who will start on pole position courtesy of finishing at position 6 yesterday in race 1. The top 6 are reversed. Jack will start out of P1, did not really have the speed yesterday, but grid 6 is enough to see him start from pole position. Louis Foster, who saw his championship hopes disappear, disintegrate, will end, quite frankly, yesterday. He will start out at grid 2. A magnificent day here in Spain, the home of the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix, a great field. As we say, we've had 25 drivers from 14 different nations compete with us in the 8 rounds of the 2021 championship. 2 Mexicans in the field. This is the first of which, Rafa Villagomez in car 8 for Van Amersfoort Racing, looking to break through for his first victory in 2021. We have raced 22 times. So this is race 2 of round 8, the 23rd race of the season, and of course race 3 this afternoon as Enzo makes his way up onto grid 4. Race 2 to get underway in just a few moments' time. Speaking of 2022, GT Sport Organisation have announced the 2022 calendar in the past few days. We get underway on the first day of May on the Portuguese coast down in the Algarve region in Portimao for the first round of 2022. As we take a look at the grid, this is Jack Crawford from Houston, Texas. Will look to launch like a rocket from pole position. And the American-based Brit Louis Foster, second in the championship, will start second on the grid as well here this morning. Third on the grid is the Malaysian Nazim Azman, who took a fabulous victory at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Eyes forward for Nazim from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. The 20-year-old starts alongside the 16-year-old. This is Enzo Trulli. P3, a great start yesterday. They were 3 wide down into turn 1. We'll look for a repeat of the fast-starting Italian for Carlin Racing. And car 1, position 5. This, on your screen, is the newly crowned champion from the United States of America, Cameron Das. He has won the 2021 title. Chembolik Bashi won race 1 yesterday, his second victory of 2021. Starts out of grid 6 in car 74 for Van Amersfoort Racing. Has got a quick car. Josh Mason looking to end the season on a high. The RR Racing driver has had a pretty good run throughout 2021. And starts out of grid 7, and this is Brad Benavides, who's working his way up through the field. Had a good run into position 8 yesterday in race 1 for Carlin Racing from Miami, Florida, the United States of America. He's just ahead of the newly crowned rookie champion, Casper Stevenson, with 2 outright victories in the championship. Casper has won the rookie championship, and he's also taken 2 outright wins as well. The Londoner in car 25 out of grid 9, alongside the Australian in car 10 out of grid 10, Christian Mansell. Team Motor Park, who in the past have had such great drivers such as Scott Speed, Valtteri Bottas. Also racing for Timo Rumpkale's team, Sebastian Alvarez in car 26 for RR Racing, the second Mexican in the field. Out of grid 11, alongside the pole in car 88, Felipe Caminhas. On the podium last time out in atrocious conditions at Monza. Starts 1 ahead of the second Mexican, Rafa Villagomez for Van Amersfoort Racing in car 8. Dexter Patterson, the Glaswegian, the 2017 Junior World Cup Racing Champion. He won that title at PFI International Karting for the Forza Racing team back in 2017. On debut in Euroformula Open, Enzo Scianti is just behind the Scotsman, the second Texan, and Francesco Simonazzi, who just kissed the wall ever so lightly yesterday at a grid 16 for BVM Racing. This is the second Italian with a new front wing. Second race ever in Formula 3 with one eye on 2022 for BVM Racing. Frank Simon, Francesco Simonazzi in car 84. The highlights of race 1 yesterday, Chembolik Bashi, Cameron Das. They went side by side down into turn 1. A rocket start from Enzo Trulli, who looked to take the lead, would you believe, but in the end had to fight off Nazim Artsman as the 2 leaders, Bolik Bashi and Cameron Das, pulled away. A great battle between Jack Crawford and Josh Mason. Jack, who fell back to 7th off the start, looked as though he was going to charge up through the pack, but 6th would be as far as he went. Francesco Simonazzi going around just kissing the wall, and Christian Mansell doing very well to avoid the Italian. Mansell and Alvarez having a great battle. Chembolik Bashi, though, was absolutely determined. He won on debut at the Hungaroring, and yesterday afternoon in race 1, he took his second victory of the 2021 championship. Das second, and that was enough for the American to claim the championship. 354 points, as you can see, 72 ahead of Foster, and then Nazim Artsman. Cameron Das is now the champion for 2021. Welcome to beautiful Barcelona here in Spain for race 2, round 8, the final round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Jack Crawford on pole position, Louis Foster second in the championship, second on the grid. Artsman and Trulli on the second row for Crypto Tower Racing and Carlin Racing respectively. The newly crowned champion in car 1, Cameron Das out of 5 alongside yesterday's race winner Chembolik Bashi. Josh Mason out of 7 for RR Racing, and then Brad Benavides out of grid 8 for Carlin Racing. Stevenson, the rookie champion, alongside Mansell, car 10 out of position 10. Alvarez on debut in Euroformula Open, alongside the pole, Felipe Caminhas for Crypto Tower Racing. We keep going back through the pack. Rafa Villagomez, the second Mexican, is alongside the series debutant Dexter Patterson. Enzo Scianti, the Texan, and Francesco Simonazzi looking to finish this year on a high with an eye on 2022. Ida Wood joins me in commentary. Cameron Dass has won the title, so he can relax a little bit. In his own words, he was relieved. So therefore, that ensures that we're going to have a cracking race with nothing to lose from the American champion.
Yeah, it's all up for grabs just for race victory today, because with the last day of the season, you really just want to end it on a high. And you know, the relief of winning the title was more than just that points picture, because during the final few laps of the race, he had warnings about the gearbox, oil temperatures rising, so he had everything going on in the car at that point, and he brought it home and he won the title. So it was a great but slightly stressful afternoon for him. In yesterday's race, the top 7 finished in the same positions they started in. Brad Benavides made up the most places from 11th to 8th. So potentially it's going to be lap 1 where we see all of the action here, and then it's going to be a case of managing the tyres, and if you save them very, very well, you can then attack later in the race and go for a move. And that is what we saw with Cembolo Bassi and Cameron Dass yesterday. They, you know, one of them raised the pace, then the other responded, and it just kind of went between those two every single lap until the end of the race, and they finished very close together. So we're very likely to see that again. We've got Jack Crawford on pole. Several times he has started at the front this year, and he has won on several occasions as well. So expect him to do very well. Of course, Red Bull has had their colours win at this circuit before. Max Verstappen, the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. In Euroformula as well, we've had some Red Bull success. So it's going to be great to see all of these cars do battle. 2 more races to go, 2 sets of tyres to go, more importantly. And of course, 36 laps of action.
Just over 80 kilometres, so 3 times 80 kilometres will almost complete a Grand Prix distance as Christian Mansell pulls down into pit lane before the start. The Australian in car 10 will not start out of grid 10. Mansell with a problem, pulls down into pit lane. Motor Park, go to work.
They've got the laptop out. Doesn't look like they've put the battery in for the starter motor, so probably more of an ECU issue rather than a mechanical one. See him looking at something now. Is the steering wheel staying on? That's normally a sign of what the decision is. Let's go back to the grid.
Jack Crawford, the Texan, the Red Bull Junior, on pole position. The green flag at the back of the grid, the 5 red lights for the penultimate time in 2021. We race. Nice start from Jack from pole position. Atzman from the second row of the grid gets away smartly. Look at Louis Foster as Jack zigzags left, right, will lead the field down into turn 1. A smart start from Bologbashi down the inside there, 3 wide into turn 1. Atzman runs out of road, truly makes up the place as Jack leads away for the first time. Nice start also by Brad Benavides, who's made up a couple of places at this early stage of the race. Enzo Trulli 3rd yesterday. He's running in P3 in the opening stages of the opening lap of race 2 here this morning. Crawford from pole position from Foster, as now Bologbashi tries the inside, tries the outside. Enzo just edges him ever so slightly into the marbles, and Trulli holds off yesterday's race winner, Cem Bologbashi. Nazim Atzman has dropped back a couple of positions after a smart start from the Malaysian. There's Enzo going through. Great start also by Philippe Caminias as the field go through safely for the first time. Jack Crawford, Louis Foster, Enzo Trulli, Bologbashi, Cameron Dass, the newly crowned champion as Simonazzi dives down the inside. Nicely done by the Italian. Goes by the Scotsman, Dexter Patterson, up into P12 before the end of the first lap. Simonazzi for BVM Racing, who kissed the wall yesterday, on the charge here this morning, as Jack Crawford leads them down through the chicane for the first time. That was Dass going through ahead of Brad Benavides. The 2 Americans, 5 and 6. There's Dexter at the back of the pack on debut in Euroformula as Jack Crawford, the Texan, from pole position, leads them across the line. Foster in 2nd place. We go back to Trulli, Bologbashi, Cameron Dass, Brad Benavides, a super start. But Nazim Atzman, the Malaysian, is breathing down his neck.
And Christian Mansell is still in the pit, so he has lost a lap in this race already. Going back to start, Crawford certainly made at least 2 moves going across to defend from Louis Foster, who had the power of the slipstream. He's still tucked in behind Crawford as they go for the lead. Kind of pulled away a little bit from Enzo Trulli, and just behind him is Cembolo Bassi, the fastest driver of anyone through that first sector of the lap. He's incredibly close to Trulli, but it's difficult to pass around these corners. Further back, Josh Mason has dropped 11 behind his teammate Sebastian. Alvarez, the two double R cars. We're going to head back to the battle between Trulli and Bollock-Bassi. That is between third and fourth place. Crawford now half a second ahead of Louis Foster. Now, the slipstream is worth at least 4 tenths here, and as long as you're kind of within 8 tenths of a driver, you can certainly use it to essentially line up a move, but you've got to have a delta, so you've got to be faster than the car in front by around half a second to get a move done, unless you've got a super strong slipstream. There's Louis Foster in second place. He's looking to add another win to his tally, but so, of course, is Jack Crawford. And Enzo Trulli in third. He's now had 2 podiums in a row. He's going to aim for a third. Can he go higher than third place? Because that's his best result so far this season.
Enzo Trulli, another great start from the young Italian in P3. Cem Bollock-Bassi is right behind him after taking his second victory yesterday. There is Nazi Martzman. Brad Benavides, a superstar from the second American. Cameron Dass just ahead of him as this battle rages. They race down the start-finish straight over 240 k's an hour. Pulling out Atzman, Casper Stevenson, Philippe Caminias, Josh Mason has to defend from Sebastian Alvarez around the outside. Nicely done. Makes up the place. Alvarez goes through.
Yeah, Mason had actually got past Alvarez at the final corner and then just lost the position and another to one of the VAR cars. Mansell is now on track. He has exited the pit lane, but he is a lap down. Simonazzi now eyeing up Mason down the inside. Beautiful move there. He's now into, I think, 11th place. So a brilliant job by Simonazzi, who had to start at the back of the grid. Remember, he had a bit of a grid penalty and he's having to defend that as they go back down the hill. Mansell has just gone past our commentary position. Here's a replay of the move. So kind of sandwiched in the middle was Mason there. Alvarez on the outside, VAR car on the inside, and that is how he dropped 2 positions in 1 corner. So there's a lap between our leading cars and Mansell. I don't think he's going to compromise anyone here. So he's nice and out in clean air. He can probably go for fastest lap. That will be his aim right now because you get an additional point for that, as Crawford extends his lead to 1.4 seconds with the fastest lap of the race.
Alvarez and Villagomez, the 2 Mexicans going wheel to wheel. This is fabulous racing. And what about the move from Francesco Simonazzi just a few moments ago as Jack leads them across the line for the 3rd time. There's Nazi Martzman as we look at Brad Benavides, the American in car 71. There is his team. Jarno Trulli, that is Enzo's father, in the middle of your screen, shaking his head. His boys on the podium, and to the left you also got a glimpse of Lucio Cavuto, who was Jarno's manager for so many days, so many years in Formula One. There is Enzo, his boy, in position 3. Carlin Racing, they're in 3rd and 6th at the moment. Jack Crawford, he did not have the speed yesterday. He only made up a single position going from 7th to 6th, certainly this morning. He's got the speed. He's got 1.8 seconds over Louis Foster, 2nd in the race, 2nd in the championship. Cameron Dass, car 1, the newly crowned champion. There's Brad Benavides, the 2 Americans, Cameron and Brad, with Natsim from Malaysia just behind. Casper Stevenson, the rookie champion from 2021, trying to stay in touch with that battle. Casper, car 25 for the Van Amersfoort Racing Team. There's his teammate Cem Bollock-Bassi going through. Race winner yesterday, the driver from Istanbul in Turkey. He knows this track oh so well. As you look at his team, Van Amersfoort Racing down on the pit wall. Atzman dives down the inside, just feints, just tries to intimidate Brad Benavides, who's got a made a super start this morning. He's really found some speed overnight. Was disappointed with his qualifying effort, only 11th. Yesterday, worked his way up to 8th. He's in 6th this morning. He made his car racing debut at this very circuit in his home nation of the United States of America, right in front of him. But Cameron Dass is catching him. Fatsman for another lap. Great drive from Brad in car 71. His teammate Enzo Trulli still holds position 3. Jack continues to pull away.
And you can see on the left there that Benavides has made up 2 places, Caminiar's 3, Simonazzi up 4 from the back of the grid. That means he's on course to take 2 over it. Doesn't have the benefit of the slipstream, so it's going to make it a little harder for him. He's at 1 minute 37.1, so around 3 tenths off what Crawford is doing. Car 84 has just had their most recent lap time deleted, and that is, let's go down the order, that's Simonazzi in 12th place. So he's currently outside of the points positions. It's not going to impact him there. But obviously, the race 2 fastest laps sets the grid for race 3. So you want to be as fast as possible, at least at some point in this race.
Some consolation for Christian Mansell, cannot make an impression on this race as far as the positions go, but as you allude to, if he can set a quick time, it'll put him somewhere near the front of the grid for the final race of the 2021 championship. Enzo Trulli on the podium in the rain at Monza. He was on the podium yesterday, and he's in P3 at the moment, although Cembolak Bashi is determined. He's in P4, started grid 6. They race down the start-finish straight. Fastest in a straight line was Nazi Martzman last time around, with the benefit of the slipstream from Benavides. 244 k's an hour. Dexter Patterson also matching him, 243.7 k's an hour. We told you about the speed at Monza the previous round of the series. Casper Stevenson in these magnificent Dallara cars, he recorded a top speed at Monza, 273 k's an hour just on the speeds. Pole position in qualifying, a 135. Where would that place him in the world of single-seater car racing? Well, when the Formula Regional Series was here, Gregoire Saucy took pole position with a 140, a low 140. Pole position in Euroformula Open, 5 seconds a lap faster. And it would have put them somewhere near the back of the grid in FIA Formula 3, only 2 seconds off Dennis Hauger's time in the Prema car for the FIA F3 Series. These Dallara EF Euroformula cars are absolute missiles. When Roman Stanek, who raced with us at the Imola round of the series, he won race 2, quite simply, he said it is the best race car he has ever driven. Jack Crawford is probably in agreement with that. He's won 6 times in 2021. And as we focus in once again on Enzo Trulli down through the chicane, there is Cembolak Bashi, the Darth Vader style black Arai helmet of the Turk from Istanbul. He raced here just a few weeks ago in a very different car in the GT4 European Championship in the BMW, and in this absolute rocket, the Dallara EF320 car, he's absolutely relishing it. Does not get the slipstream from Enzo, who still holds position 3. Jack now 2.4 seconds down the road as Josh Mason pulls into pit lane.
Yeah, here's a replay of Enzo Trulli going through those final few corners. It's all about being as smooth as possible there. As Josh Mason, he's all the way down the pits. I think he might stop at his pit box, change tyres, and then, of course, go for the fastest lap in this race if he can. That's what we're going to expect to see. Here's Bolak Bassi on the replay as well. There is the pit wall at Carlin with Enzo's dad, Jarno Trulli. Now, Mason has stopped, it looks like, so potentially that is going to be a tyre change. Crawford still up front, 2.3 seconds, so he actually lost a little bit of time to Louis Foster in that first sector. Foster setting his personal best. Enzo Trulli in third, Cembolak Bashi in fourth, and Cameron Dass is actually not too far behind. He is in 5th place at the moment. He's escaped the clutches of Brad Benavides, and he is chasing this battle between Trulli and Bolak Bashi for 3rd place.
Jack Crawford is looking good for pole position. Later this afternoon, we go off the lap times of race 2 at the moment. Jack with a 136.779 on the 3rd lap of the race, an average speed of over 172 k's an hour. There's Cembolak Bashi still in P4. He's just over a second behind. There is car 1 from Maryland's USA. Cameron Dass made his championship debut, was on the podium instantly. That was a good couple of seasons ago now. Has worked his way up. He is a world-class driver, a thoroughly deserving champion. Cameron Dass has a massive future ahead of him. Whether he elects to stay here in Europe, he can certainly match it with the best young open-wheel racers on the continent or back in his home nation of the United States. The future looks very, very bright for Cameron Dass, a very worthy champion. Nothing to lose here this afternoon. He's in position 5 at the moment. He won the title yesterday. Cembolak Bashi finished ahead of him in race 1, and Cem is just up the road. The Turk from the American as we approach half race distance. The penultimate race of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Jack Crawford, the Texan, has now got 2 seconds over Louis Foster. Enzo Trulli in P3, Cembolak Bashi, and then on your screen, car 1, the newly crowned champion, Cameron Dass in P5.
We just saw, I think, Cembolak Bashi riding the curves a lot there. The rear wheels almost went into the air. He's got just a second behind Enzo Trulli. Cameron Dass really has closed in, but they're dragging along the cars behind them as well. In yesterday's race, within the first 2 or 3 laps, we saw the whole field kind of open up gaps at more than 2 seconds. But this time round, we got our top 5 cars covered by 9 seconds, and admittedly there's a 5-second gap between Foster in second and Trulli in third. But Trulli in his mirrors going down the straights can see at least 4 or 5 of his rivals behind him, including teammate Benavides, who I believe would be on course for possibly his best ever single-seater racing result in 6th place. It's a very impressive performance so far. Nazim Azman in 7th lost those positions at the start, but clearly has the pace to be higher up the order, and Casper Stevenson, who would be rounding out the rookie classification podium at the moment, in 8th place.
Brad Benavides, yes, certainly driving superbly here this morning. He's withstood the pressure from Nazim Azman for the moment, although he has lost time to his countryman Cameron Das. Brad Benavides from the United States of America spent the last couple of seasons racing international karting. We first heard about Brad when he stood on the podium at Adria Karting Raceway in the WSK Final Cup. That was in KZ, racing with the best KZ kart racing drivers in the world. A couple of seasons racing in single-seaters. Back with us for the last few rounds of Euroformula Open, looking to a full campaign for 2022. He's in position 6. Remember, he qualified in 11th, so he's working his way up through the pack. Halfway through race 2, Brad Benavides, car 71, in 6th place. Jack, his countryman, continues to lead. The gap is 2.1 seconds. Jack Crawford, who has won 6 times in 2021. Louis Foster, 2nd place in the championship and 2nd place here this morning as well. Louis Foster, he's won 3 times in 2021. The American-based British driver, the 2nd generation racer as well, down through turn 16, about to pass half race distance. Louis Foster for the Crypto Tower Racing Team made his debut in Euroformula in 2020, actually won a race in his debut season, also racing in the British Formula 3 Championship before it was awkwardly retitled. We'll just call it British F3 for reference. 3 wins in 2020. Has taken the fight up to Cameron Das throughout this season. As Brad Benavides goes through, there's Nazim Azman, and behind him, the rookie champion of 2021, another Brit, Casper Stevenson.
And he's got a 1.4 second gap to Lit Caminiars in 9th and Sebastian Alvarez in 10th. Now, although Alvarez is in the final points position, because he's debuting in the final round of the season, he's actually a guest driver, so he won't be eligible for points. So Vela Gomez is currently on course for that final point in 10th place. And Simonazzi still in 12th, so he should get 2 points for most positions gained, which is a very valuable aspect of the series when the rules are changed for this year. Josh Mason's just set his personal best lap at 1:37.7. That won't put him too far up the grid for race 3 at the moment, because we have seen some 1:36s and low 1:37s, but having done a pit stop, he's clearly got the pace and he's got clear air as well, so that should help him there. He's actually only 17 seconds behind Enzo Scianti, so I wouldn't rule out him finishing 14th or higher in this race as well. Jack Crawford, 9 laps completed, 2.5 seconds up the road from Foster. This is a very Crawford-like performance, you could say. Quite a few of his wins this year, apart from Paul Ricard, where they were battling all the way along. He has just led from the front and done a very good job of it. Of course, at Imola, he fought with Roman Stanek incredibly closely. Enzo Scianti, we're following now, and you can see he has lost quite a bit of ground to car's head Dexter Patterson as well. The 2 drivers' cars, Patterson also a guest driver, so he's not eligible to score points this weekend. He's come from the GB3, formerly known as British F3 Championship, and he actually made his way into cars with the backing of Sauber, so he had quite an interesting path from karting to single-seaters.
That is true. He is a mega talent, although the results do not display it. As we referenced, he won the 2017 World Kart Racing Championships, only his 5th car race in 2021. As Foster goes through in 2nd place, Dexter completed the first 3 rounds of the GB3 series. 1 race in Formula Regional at Spa for the Monolight Racing Team has come over, and he told us after free practice driving the Drive X car for the first time on Thursday, he says, wow, this car is an absolute rocket. Absolutely amazed at the speed and the grip of these Euroformula cars, as Jack, with Louis behind, the gap stays at 2.1 seconds.
And we're following essentially the battle for the title runner-up spot right now. Louis Foster ahead at the moment, provisionally, Jack Crawford in 3rd place in the standings. That fastest lap is going to bring him an extra point, as he currently holds it. So Crawford is on course to score 26 points from this race. Louis Foster on course to score 18, and that will bring them a little bit closer going into the final race. It will keep Crawford in contention for that title runner-up spot. But of course, Foster's got quite a handy advantage in the standings for that battle there. Nazim Asman provisionally now 4th place in the standings. I imagine he'd be ruled out of this battle for the 2nd place spot if he stays in the position he's currently in. Cameron Dass now right on the rear of Cem Bolek-Bassi. Bolek-Bassi has lost 1.8 seconds to Trulli, and he's having to look in his mirrors because Dass is right there. He's going to dive down the inside of turn 1. He's sticking it there. They touch wheels twice going on the inside of the corner. Dass keeps it. Bolek-Bassi actually stays ahead, although he was briefly running off the road. He managed to just get over the curbs, keep it on track. Dass did well to essentially relinquish that inside line to make sure neither of them collided, but that is as close as you can possibly get without damage, I think. He's going to try and get down the inside, thinks better of it, and that's bringing Brad Benavides back into play behind them. Benavides must be really lapping this up because it's like 4th place finish possibly here. I'd love to have a go at that. Cameron Dass, though, really trying to end his season on a high after winning the title. And Nazim Asman behind them in 7th place as well. Cem Bolek-Bassi in that move alone has lost another 1.2 seconds to Enzo Trulli. So Trulli on course for another 3rd place finish.
Fantastic racing in Euroformula Open, the penultimate race of the 2021 championship. Cem Bolek-Bassi, Cameron Dass with a big move a few moments ago. The 2 Americans behind the Turk, and Nazim Asman, he's not out of this either as we move into the 2nd half of race 23 of the 24 race 2021 championship. Take a look at this. Gets the slipstream. Cem tries to cover him off. Dives down the inside. They touch Michelin tyres. So close. Brilliant talent from both Bolek-Bassi, who's sideways in the marbles on the exit, withstands the pressure from the newly crowned champion from the United States of America. Determined racing. They were on the edge of their seats watching us live over in Istanbul, and Cem Bolek-Bassi checks the mirrors. Cameron, Brad and Nazim are still right behind yesterday's race winner. Brilliant racing in race 2, round 8 of the Euroformula Open Championship. Benavides goes through, still in position 6.
And I'm wondering, with the warmer temperatures here, we've seen this actually the last 2 years, when the heat has risen, particularly the track temperature, Carlin has kind of come into its own around this track. Trulli's doing very well. He's on the podium at the moment. Benavides is looking the most competitive he has been so far this season. And 2 years ago, Tepe Notori absolutely dominated when the tyres were basically blistering. It was that hot. So certainly there's something to do with Barcelona plus heat equals strong Carlin performance in Euroformula, which is great to see. Having several teams fighting for podiums and fighting at the front of this championship is always great. Bolek-Bassi under attack, I guess, from Cameron Dass again. There's still a half-second gap, but it's looking even harder now, I'd say, for Bolek-Bassi to maintain that position, particularly in the last lap he was losing time to the cars behind.
You mentioned Tepe Notori, who just a few weeks ago at Motegi in Japan took out the Super Formula Lights Championship using these identical Euroformula Open cars from Giuliano Alesi and Ren Sato. The identical cars, and when the world finally does get back to normal, hopefully we will be racing at Macau in the Macau Grand Prix with the Euroformula Open cars joining the Super Formula Lights teams from Japan. We hope that's not too far away.
Yeah, and obviously Tepe was previously Honda Junior, but he had to crowdfund his way into the championship this year, and he did an incredible job there. And in that championship, there is the legendary Dragon, who scored his first points after, I think, like 40 races. So, you know, not highest level competition compared to Euroformula, but so much history in that championship, and it's great to see that they have this car. With the Euroformula chassis, we are going to be moving to 17-inch wheels come 2023. Here's a nice look at those wheels. You can see how large the sidewall of the tyre is. As we go to a larger wheel, that sidewall will get a little thinner if you're looking at it side on, because the actual wheel itself will be larger. And that will change handling of the car. It will make it more relevant to F1, and it will make it more relevant to what Michelin and the wheel suppliers are doing for road cars and for their other customers. So that's the direction single-seaters are going in. Euroformula is following F1 and doing that. It's going to be great to see it. Bolek-Bassi right now still in 4th place, a third of a second ahead of Cameron Dass. So Dass has actually got closer again. but maybe it's just a little too hard to overtake now because those tyres are 13 laps old. The heat is only increasing right now, particularly at the track temperatures. And when you're in the dirty air of the car in front as well, that makes it even harder. You're going to be sliding a little bit more, so you're going to be causing graining as well. So very difficult job, but it'll be great to see if this battle goes all the way to the flag for the second race in a row between Bollock-Bassi and Das.
4 laps remaining at the end of this one, the penultimate race of the 2021 championship here in Barcelona at the home of the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix, where Lewis took the victory a few months ago from Max, and the former Motopark team driver Valtteri Bottas was on the podium here in the Spanish Formula One Grand Prix, and Motopark with their driver Jack are looking at another victory after claiming the championship with the driver on your screen now, Cameron Das, who's sideways on the exit of turn 1. Cem Bollock-Bassi safe in 4th for the moment. Cameron Das, you can say the same, in 5th place because Brad Benavides has just dropped back after trying to attack both Cameron and Brad, and Natsim Atzman in P7. That was Casper Stevenson going through a few moments ago in car 25, the rookie champion. As Cem Bollock-Bassi locks the front left, so the Pirelli tyres have been tortured. Sorry, the Michelin tyres have been tortured, of course, but they're still working superbly. As the track warms up here, there's Louis Foster in 2nd place as well. The gap is down to 1.1 seconds. He has caught up Jack quite significantly. The gap was out to 2 seconds, so it's not over yet. Louis Foster, who has taken 3 victories in 2021, can he make it 4? It looks as though, or looked previously as though Jack was going to take his 7th victory, but the Michelin tyres, that was a bad error.
Yeah.
But of course they're working superbly. Louis Foster has managed them superbly. He's catching Jack.
Yeah, Crawford's 2/10 fast on that last lap, but on the previous lap he lost a 1.5 seconds. So what I suspect there is we didn't see on camera, there was either a lock-up and Foster's actually getting slidey, so you can see those tyres are already being pushed to the limit. Crawford lost a lot of time in 1 lap, so I don't think he's losing time in segmented ways. That was just an individual time loss, and he's managed to recover it 2 tenths faster than Foster this time by. But once Foster gets within a second of Crawford, which is very close to right now, he's 1.086 behind. Once he's within that second, he will have the advantage of slipstream, and he should be able to close in far more easier. We did see, though, at the very beginning of the race, when he was right tucked in behind Crawford, Crawford moved to the right, he moved to the left, he moved to the right again, and then coming to the braking zone, he kind of drifted across to the left to have the ideal racing line into turn 1. That's where Foster's going to be wanting to overtake, but he knows Crawford will be willing to defend that hard against him because they are essentially battling for the title runner-up spot right now. See Crawford looking in his mirrors, Motopark waving them on. Now, Timo couldn't be telling them to speed up because they're already going very fast. Christian Mansell, though, at the back of the grid, he is 1:40, so he's actually lost several seconds. We're looking at him now. Potentially, he is telling him to hurry up because, you know, he doesn't want to be traffic for his teammate who is leading this race. They're on board with Mansell now. You can see how fast these cars go. Foster getting a little bit crossed up going through the penultimate corner. He's going to come round. Crawford will be moving on to, I think, the penultimate lap now. So it's a 1:37.69 for Crawford, a 1:37.80 for Foster. The gap is back up to 1.3 seconds. And you see at the very back there, Trulli and Bollock-Bassi. Bollock-Bassi's closed in on Trulli again as well. So the tyre life, it ebbs and flows here. People are getting faster. Some people are struggling a bit more. Nazem Asman's just gone past us, and Casper Stevenson is right on his tail going down the pit straight. So the battles are back on again all across the grid.
Christian Mansell has actually set the 3rd fastest lap of the race, so he's looking at a 2nd row start for the final race of the 2021 championship at the moment. Jack Crawford, the fastest lap, that was set on lap 3 at 1:36.779. The field starting to bunch up in the closing stages of the penultimate race of the season. Crawford, the gap is 1.2 seconds. Back to Foster, and this is Cem Bollock-Bassi on the back of Trulli. Cameron Das, P5 for the newly crowned champion, with Brad Benavides behind. They'll get the last lap board next time round. Jack Crawford, can he hold on to take his 7th victory of 2021? Louis Foster wants his 4th. He wants to finish the season on a high. Of course, we've got race 3 this afternoon. Enzo truly looking at his third podium. Cembolokbashi absolutely determined. Will almost get the slipstream from the Italian. Next time round, there's Cameron Das, car 1. The American, Yifayer, of course, taking the title for Crypto Tower Racing in 2020. Back to Motor Park for 2021. After Marino Sato took the title in 2019, Jack Crawford is now on his last lap. Louis Foster, the gap is still 1.2 seconds. He's too far back. Unless Jack makes a mistake down into turn 1 and turn 2 for the final time. Truly looking at his third podium in third place of 2021. The fastest lap times to determine the grid for the final race of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. And at the moment, it looks as though Jack, who started from pole position for this race 2, will start from pole for race 3 as well this afternoon. The gap still 1.2 seconds, then 10 seconds back to Trulli in third. Bolokbashi, Das, Benavides, Atzman, Stevenson. Christian Mansell, he's a lap down, but he is almost the fastest driver on the circuit. Mansell looking to start the final race on the second row of the grid. There is Timo in the middle of your screen, Team Moto Park. They've won the title yesterday, as we mentioned. Some brilliant drivers over the years, most notably Scott Speed, Valtteri Bottas, and of course, remember the name, Cameron Das. He's already a star of junior Euroformula racing, or single-seater racing in Europe. He's in position 5, he won't make the podium. Jack Crawford, his teammate, his fellow countryman, the American here in Spain, rounds the final few corners for the 7th time in 2021. The checkered flag will wave. It is Jetpack Jack Crawford, Texas Ranger, who wins it just from Louis Foster. Backed it off over the line. Too much so, that was too close for Team Motor Park. Foster almost took the victory. Look at the gap at the bottom of your screen. Just a 1/10 of a second. Enzo on the podium in third place. Cembolokbashi fourth from Cameron Das. Great drive from Brad Benavides for this team on your screen, Carlin Racing, who finish in P6. Jack coasts to the line. Deja vu, bien Wordheim. Monaco Formula 3000, 2003, it was almost a repeat. He just does take the victory. Does Jack and Motor Park, they weren't happy about it. He just holds on for his 7th victory of the season. Louis Foster almost took his 4th. Be assured, he'll never do that again in his racing career. I doubt he had a problem. It looked as though he was slow out of the final corner. Too much though, he was just coasting. The gap was over 2 seconds. And he's won it by 0.168 of a second. Too close for comfort. But nevertheless, Jack has won the race from Louis Foster. Enzo on the podium in third place. Cembolokbashi, almost another podium. Heads home the champion, Cameron Das. Brad, the second American. P6, good drive from Benavides ahead of Atzman, Stevenson, Philip Caminias, and Sebastian Alvarez. Rafa Villagomez, the two Mexicans finished together. And Simonazzi, good drive from Francesco in his second ever Formula 3 race. Dexter, the debutant, heads home his teammate, the second Texan, Enzo Scianti. Josh Mason, Christian Mansell, a lap down after pulling into the pits on the formation lap, but potentially has set a lap time that'll put him second on the grid for race 3 this afternoon. Das, 64 points with only 25 remaining in the championship. Louis Foster, and with that victory, Jack moves into third place just behind Louis for third in the series. We'll see what Team Moto Park have to say to their driver. I'm sure there'll be a congratulations in there somewhere, because Crawford, the Texan, has taken his 7th victory of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship, but it was too close for comfort. The gap, 2 seconds. It went down to 1.2 because Louis Foster managed the Michelin tyre superbly. He caught up to Crawford. It looked as though he would attack. And then over the line, that 2 second gap down to 1.2 seconds. In the end, just 0.1 0.16 of a second. I dare say Dr. Marco will be on the phone to Jack by this evening as well. But he has taken the victory. Let's give him some credit. The Red Bull Junior takes his 7th victory of the 2021 Euroformula Open Series. Car 52 for Team Moto Park. He's happy, he celebrates. He had it under control. Great try from Louis Foster on the podium in 2nd place. And Enzo again on the podium.
Hey, my gearbox was fucked up. It went from 6 down to 20.
Huh?
My gearbox went from 6 down to
I was confused. I thought, are you taunting me or some shit?
I thought you were going to beat me. I was like...
Okay, so there we go. There's the explanation. We thought Jack is too smart for that. He had a gearbox issue, so he was lucky. Oh, we take that back, Jack. Apologies, mate. He had it under control, limping to the line with a gearbox issue. There's Enzo in P3. So Crawford nursed it to the win. We were unfair to him. I'll be honest. I'm sorry, Jack. I was unfair to you. He takes the win, limping to the line with a gearbox issue. Foster, Louis thought he was just playing with him. You could hear Louis and Jack just speaking there. That's why the gap came down, and that's why he lost 1 second, 3 laps from the end. Great drive from Enzo. His 3rd podium of 2021. Enzo truly starting to display the speed, the talent that we know he has. Louis Foster, great drive through absolutely everything. Now Jack Crawford almost took his 4th victory of the season. Comes home in 2nd place. Jack Crawford, he had it under control. We were unfair to him, but he nursed a limping car to the line. Crawford managed it well, takes his 7th victory of the Euroformula Open Championship. Let's hear from the Texan, who's down with Alfredo in pit lane.
Jack Crawford, 7th win in the Euroformula. That's a very nice achievement. It wasn't that easy though, huh?
No, it wasn't easy at all. I mean, I did a really good start. You know, got the fastest lap at the beginning. And then around halfway, I started to suffer with some gearbox issues. It was shifting up as I was trying to shift down. So I started to fall back a bit, and it seems the issue was fixed. I was trying really hard to manage it, stay off all the curbs and everything. And yeah, on the final lap, I got the issues really big, and out of the last corner, it went all the way to 6th gear from 2nd, and I thought I was going to get beat, but man, I got really lucky for sure. And yeah, thanks to Moto Park, because the car was great. Yeah, very happy. So.
You made it. You are back to 3rd in the standings, and the objective for the last race of the season is to keep that podium, final podium position.
Yeah, obviously the objective is to win the race this afternoon, and you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, shame we didn't get to race the full season, but you know, still happy with what I've achieved this year. So,
well done. All the best.
The penultimate race of the 2021 championship saw Jack from pole position go wheel to wheel with Louis Foster down into turn 1. Zigzagging, trying to break the toe already. Nazi Matzman made a brilliant start. The Malaysian was briefly into 3rd place, but Enzo truly went shooting down the inside. Went 3 wide with Atzman and Bolik Bashi, who got sideways on the exit. And truly from there would not relinquish 3rd place. The Mexicans, Villa Gomez and Sebastian Alvarez going wheel to wheel with Josh Mason. Fabulous racing early on in the pack. Louis Foster in 2nd place. set off after Jack, who, as we learned after the end of the race, was limping with a gearbox issue. He had a 2-second lead. That eroded down to 1 second, and he just took the victory as Cem Molokbashi and Cameron Dass went wheel to wheel, side by side, down into turn 1. Fabulous racing between yesterday's race winner and the newly crowned champion from the United States of America. Speaking of which, the Texan just coasts across the line to take the narrowest of victories here this morning in the penultimate race of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Enzo on the podium, once again a superb P3 for Carlin Racing. Louis Foster, great drive. He drove superbly, in fact, all race to finish in position 2. And win number 7, third in the championship for the Red Bull Junior from the United States of America, Jack Crawford. The most famous national anthem in the world of sport is about to ring out here in Spain. The American Cameron Dass yesterday won the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship, and this morning, also from the United States of America, Jack Crawford has won his 7th race, the penultimate of the season. With that, the Red Bull Junior, the Texan, moves into 3rd place in the championship. Foster, 2nd here this morning, 2nd in the series as well. We will race for the final time in what has been a magnificent 2021 season in race 3 this afternoon. Thanks for your company. We race 24 of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship at 3:30 local time here at Barcelona in Spain. Thanks for your company. We'll see you for the final race of the season this afternoon.
Mama kurwa. Oh oh.